If it makes you happy, that's why we're doing the interviews.
Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which was released in 2004, remains one of the best movies ever. The movie made great headlines and fans yearned for more. However, what many didn't know is that behind the scenes, many things happened that could have ruined the production. Get ready to be shocked as we unveil 20 weird facts about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Number 20, Alfonso Cuarón gave the Harry Potter cast an assignment 006 to 011.
What we try to do is to detect the theme of the film.
Sounds very hilarious, but it's true. While preparing for the movie behind the scenes, a lot of drama was going on, and it started when Alfonso Cuarón was signed as director. He gave an assignment to the young stars that shocked them all. Do you want to find out as well? Before they started filming, he charged each one of them with writing an essay on their character. Daniel Radcliffe as Harry Potter, Rupert Grint as Ron Weasley, and Emma Watson as Hermione Granger. According to the story, all the stars did their assignment except Grint. Watson, in true Hermione fashion, turned in 16 pages. Radcliffe, on the other hand, turned in a solid one-page composition. To everyone's surprise, Grint refused to do his homework, and many people wondered why he made this decision. To clear things up and get the truth out, the Huffington Post called him for an interview. In the interview, they asked him if there was any truth to the story, and he answered, laughing, "Yeah, that is true. Yeah." Also, Grint revealed that he did not decide to shirk the assignment out of arrogance. He shared that during that time he was the oldest of the 3 stars and he had been preparing to take his General Certificate of Secondary Education exams. The exam was a series of standardized tests taken by British students at high school age. Radcliffe and Watson, on the other hand, were a year or 2 from the tests themselves. He further explained that he was too bogged down with his studies to give the assignment much thought. "It's quite Ron-ish not to do it," he added. "I think Cuarón kind of appreciated that." How hilarious. Number 19, Hermione punched Malfoy.
I think it'd be great.
Such a good moment.
He originally said in the script that Hermione slapped.
In the script, Hermione was supposed to slap Malfoy, not punch him, but things changed after the rehearsal. Let's see what happened. During the rehearsal for the scene, Tom Felton told Emma Watson to slap him. However, he had intended for her not to hit him, so he was taken by surprise when Emma smacked him across the face as hard as she could. After the hot slap, Emma shared that she felt very terrible about it and didn't know what she was thinking. When Tom saw how things turned out during the rehearsal, they decided to change the scene to a punchline. And that was why in the scene, Emma ended up punching Malfoy. The scene turned out to be one of the most loved parts in the movie after its release. However, it was an emotional moment for Emma. Another interesting fact is that Emma Watson was not the only one who acted in that scene. Number 18, Emma had a double. Apart from Emma, Miles, who appeared in the first 3 Harry Potter series, shared that both she and Emma filmed the scene where Malfoy was punched. Shocked? Don't be. Keep on watching. For Miles, that particular scene was a special one. According to her, she had never thrown a punch before in her life. However, she claimed that no real contact was made between her fist and Felton's face during filming. But to her, Felton was a sport, and they had both found the scene very hilarious, but her scene was later cut and replaced with Emma's. Let's hear what she has to say about that. "It was probably cut because my punch was really rubbish and not so convincing, so they just kept it in Emma's. I am a really non-athletic person. I have never thrown a punch before in my life, and the team told me, just go for it, so you are like, oh, okay. It is such a great scene, isn't it? I filmed the scene as well, and so did Emma. So that happens all the time. We both film a scene, and they just edit it together." She added, "Our hands did not connect with his face. It was more like a pass to him, and he did the reaction. Tom is a great sport, so he found it funny as well. Malfoy is a great character and completely different to what Tom is like in real life. He is such a lovely person and laughs, so I think he was slightly glad the character got put in his place a little bit too." Miles further added that shooting the scene was fun for him because it was a key moment when Hermione is finally standing up for herself, and she loved that. For Miles, being in the scene had a profoundly positive impact on her life, and she was glad to be part of the liberating moment for Hermione. Number 17. Richard Harris turned down his role in Harry Potter 3 times, 010 to 015.
Ready?
Let's join hands then.
Hello.
Okay. Hello.
Hi.
In one of his interviews, Richard Harris revealed that when he was offered the role of Albus Dumbledore in Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, he turned it down 3 times. But he later took the role because of his granddaughter, who talked him into it. The interview further revealed that Richard had never read the J.K. Rowling script when he was approached about taking a role in the film. "All I knew was that they kept offering me the part and raising the salary every time they called. I kept turning it down," said Harris. He added that though he was aware of the huge box office potential of the film, his age was one factor that discouraged him. At the time, he was already 71 years old and did not want to be roped into a series of sequels. "Anyone involved has to agree to be in the sequels, all of them, and that's not how I wanted to spend the last years of my life. So I said no over and over again," said Harris. However, Harris's granddaughter Ella heard of the offers. She said, "Papa, I hear you're not going to be in the Harry Potter movie," and she said, "If you don't play Dumbledore, then I will never speak to you again," said Harris. That made up his mind, and he finally agreed to the role, which only involved about 3 weeks' work spread over a few months. Number 16. Richard Harris died before the production of Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Everyone had gotten so used to Richard Harris's presence in the Harry Potter series. Unfortunately, life had other plans for him. In the first 2 Harry Potter films, The Sorcerer's Stone and The Chamber of Secrets, he took on the role of Hogwarts headmaster. Unfortunately, in August 2002, he was diagnosed with Hodgkin's disease. For a while, he kept on getting treatments and later died in October, only a month before the release of the movie. His death was a huge blow to the crew. He was the perfect man for the role. The wizarding world mourned Harris's passing. However, the show needed to continue, and the search for a new Dumbledore began. Many actors were considered for the role. One of them was Ian McKellen. That's not all. Sean Connery, Harry Robinson, Patrick McGoohan, and McKellen's Lord of the Rings co-star Christopher Lee were also considered for the roles. At one point, Peter O'Toole, the legendary star of Lawrence of Arabia, was added to the list as well. There were rumors that Peter was the first person to be considered for the role but declined because he was close friends with Richard Harris. He claimed that it did not feel right taking the part over from a friend. But it will surprise you more to know that Ian McKellen refused the role because of something Richard did before his death. Want to find out? Keep on watching. Number 15. Ian McKellen turned down the Dumbledore role because of Richard Harris's comment 018 to 022.
Yeah, nonsense.
Another interesting fact about the Harry Potter movie is that Ian McKellen was once approached to play the role of Dumbledore, but he refused because of one man, Richard Harris. Sir Ian McKellen is a legendary actor loved and honored by many. He was famous for his role in The Lord of the Rings, where he played the trilogy's resident wizard Gandalf. According to Collider's report, McKellen almost played another famous wizarding mentor, the Harry Potter franchise's Albus Dumbledore. However, he declined the offer because Richard Harris had a low opinion of his acting. When he was approached for the role, everyone thought he would gladly accept it, but the reverse was the case. In an interview with the BBC, Ian shared that when the show was looking for who to play the role of Dumbledore, he received a phone call offering him a part in the Harry Potter films. The part was not specified, but Ian did not have to channel his inner Sherlock Holmes to figure out what was being asked. He knew they wanted him to play the role of Dumbledore. However, he declined because Richard had once called him a technically brilliant but passionless actor. Hearing this criticism hurt him a lot, and it influenced his decision. Over the years, Ian has proved Richard wrong. Throughout his storied career, which includes iconic turns as Shakespeare's Richard III and the X-Men nemesis Magneto, he has consistently demonstrated his exceptional acting skills. Critics have often shared that Ian can bring believability to even the most outlandish stories and roles. Additionally, Ian believes in his ability, but he did not feel right taking over the role of an actor who disliked his work. He passed on the role, and the part of Albus Dumbledore went to Michael Gambon. Michael, on the other hand, played the role with vibrance and intensity over the course of 6 films. He eventually carved out his place as the definitive Dumbledore for most Harry Potter fans. He often joked that he would see Gambon's Dumbledore on movie posters and mistake the image for himself. Many reports shared that it was hard to imagine anyone but Gambon in that role. But Ian McKellen almost pulled off one of the biggest double dips in movie history. Number 14. J.K. Rowling based the Dementors on her battle with depression. Have you ever wondered what inspired the presence of Dementors in the movie? Why on earth did Rowling include them? Let's find out. According to several studies, the Dementors in the wizarding world originated from a deeply personal and real place for J.K. Rowling. For a long time, she has battled with intense depression. Therefore, she decided to write about Dementors to embody and put a creature to the emotions she felt when she was depressed. Sounds painful, right? But her depression turned into a great tool. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, depression symptoms include feelings of hopelessness or pessimism, and people who are depressed can often experience a persistent sad, anxious, or empty mood. Analysts compared these symptoms with the effects of a Dementor, and there were shocking similarities. In the movie, the Dementors leech happiness and joy from everyone they encounter. And when they are given the chance, Dementors will completely suck out the soul of a person, leaving them to live the rest of their life as an empty shell. These images are scary, right? But for Rowling, this was the kind of scary life she had lived. In the movie, the presence of a Dementor was one that invokes fear and dread, with their skeletal bodies, cloaked in dark hoods with slimy-looking, decayed hands and no eyes. Also, according to the wizarding world, eyes are the windows to the soul. So for a soul-sucking creature to have no eyes, it means their victim will be looking into a pit of nothingness while they relive the worst experience of their life. This, according to them, is unimaginable, and it means chaos and great pain. This was exactly what Rowling wanted to portray. Number 13. Harry Melling's role was almost recast because of his weight loss. Do you know that at one point in the show, Harry Melling's role was almost recast? Harry Melling played the role of Harry's cousin in the Harry Potter series. At the beginning, Harry often stayed with the extended family when he was not at Hogwarts, and the Dursleys were present in many Harry Potter installments, which means Harry Melling's role was important. For a very long time, Harry Melling, who acted as Dudley, was a thorn in Harry's side. He either picked on his cousin or ignored his existence completely. His fat body and weight made him fit easily into the role. Suddenly, Dudley experienced a tragic weight loss, and there were discussions to recast him since Harry Melling looked so different. After losing weight, it was very hard to recognize him. Later in the end, they decided he was going to reprise the role, but he was forced to spend more time with production. To resemble Dudley more closely, Harry Melling had to wear a padded suit and a special face prosthetic for his final Harry Potter appearance. The fat suit, as it is commonly called, hid Melling's dramatic weight loss and made it easy for him to match the continuity of the series when it came to Dudley's arc. Though he went through a drastic transformation, it was his role to complete. It was true that his role could have been recast, but it was easier to alter the appearance of the actor who portrayed Dudley from the start. His weight loss became symbolic of a fresh beginning in his career. After losing the weight, he had to finally let go of the character he had played for many years. Being grateful for the opportunity in the Harry Potter franchise didn't change the fact that he was ready to move on to other gigs, and his weight helped him achieve this. Number 12. Harry Melling's weight loss was not a conscious decision.
What was it like going from playing a muggle in Harry Potter to a wizard in Merlin?
I see.
Harry Melling's weight loss has always been a topic of discussion. It was not a conscious decision, but something that just happened. Later, he was asked if he intentionally lost weight to disassociate himself from the character by changing his appearance. To that, he responded, "I have no control over that narrative. But I went to drama school and I lost some weight and that's it. To me. And people will find fascination with that. They want to ask why and how I did it, but that's not of any interest to me whatsoever." Also, in many interviews, he was often asked if his weight loss helped him to shed the Harry Potter association. He told The Independent, "I think you can be an actor in whatever shape you want to be." But losing weight at the time was not a conscious decision at all. It was just something that happened. And of course, that makes people see you differently, and maybe that opens up different casting opportunities. I don't think that was a conscious decision. He continued, "I mean, maybe in hindsight, somewhere in me, I've always been interested in the actors that transform, so maybe that's where the instinct to do that came from." Apart from Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, he has also starred in other notable movies alongside Daniel Radcliffe, Dame Emma Thompson, Rupert Grint, and Tom Felton. Later, while talking with The Independent, he admitted that he hasn't kept in touch with many of his former co-stars. He reflected, "It's that weird thing. We did it when we were so young. I think everyone's sort of gone off and done their own things. A lot of them have left the UK, which is interesting. I've kind of stuck around here." Number 11. The bats flying in Hagrid's hut are real. While many people believe that some creatures in the movie were fake, it will surprise you to discover that the bats flying in Hagrid's hut were real. Yes, they are. And they were particularly challenging to train. Also, Daniel Radcliffe noted that they tended to urinate everywhere, and it was hard to keep them under control. Later, the animal trainers found a way out and kept them under control using food rewards. These bats enjoyed bananas, and they made sure to give them this. Along the way, many people began to question if Rowling truly wanted the bats in the movies. She was not the type to agree to that. Let's hear what Jim Warren, the animal trainer, said about that. "This isn't really true. Rowling was generally consulted on the films, but generally didn't really put her foot down in stopping a great deal. The thinking behind the inclusion of the egg creature doesn't seem to be much different than the decision to include bats in Hagrid's cabin. These creatures were added at the instruction of the director Alfonso Cuarón. In Harry Potter 3, we used the bats quite a bit, mainly in Hagrid's hut. They did a lot of flying around. The director Alfonso loved them, so he wanted them more and more all the time. Additionally, in reality, the filmmakers exercised considerable creative control. This explains the inclusion of elements like the frog choir, which also didn't appear in the books. The egg creature was also a product of the filmmaking process, rather than an adaptation of anything Rowling ever described. Number 10. Warner Brothers supplied ushers at cinemas with night vision goggles to prevent illegal recording and pirating of the movie. This may be the first time you're learning this, but it's true. After the release of Harry Potter and The Prisoner of Azkaban, Warner Brothers decided to protect the movie from piracy by supplying the ushers at cinemas with night vision equipment to prevent the recording of the movie. This measure didn't sit well with UK audiences, but it helped protect the movie. According to reports, it caused a great stir amongst German Potter fans and privacy advocates. They hated the idea. Also, German officials announced that they were going to investigate Warner Brothers' measures. One theatergoer compared the presence of the night vision-equipped security guards to the former Eastern German Stasi secret police. While this was going on, another person confronted the theater owner about it, and they were told it was done on behalf of the film's distributor, Warner Pictures. Since then, Warner Brothers has officially acknowledged the use of the surveillance gear. The company said that it was restricted to 10 theaters that have been known to be visited by pirates armed with camcorders before. Also, they revealed that in these theaters, security guards do not take any video recordings of the audience, and the theaters clearly warn customers about the measures. Later, a theater owner told reporters that Warner Brothers had threatened to stop the distribution of any future titles to her theater if she hadn't agreed to the measure. However, German officials were not in any way pleased about the surveillance. According to reports, Saxony-Anhalt's Data Protection Commissioner, Harold von Bose, is investigating whether the use of night vision goggles violated Germany's strict privacy laws. According to Die Welt, another state official is also considering monetary fines against Warner Brothers. Number 9. The secret behind the night bus. Do you remember the night bus in the film? There is a secret behind it that was not revealed on camera. To make the night bus appear as if it were zipping through traffic at an extremely high speed, the scenes were filmed with the bus driving at normal speed. That's not all. The rest of the traffic was recorded to be driving at a snail's pace. This was all orchestrated. The film was advanced through the camera at a slower rate than it would eventually advance on screen. When the scene was played back at normal speed, the bus appeared to be driving super fast. Number 8. Ron's fear of spiders is from a traumatic experience. Have you ever wondered if Ron's fear of spiders was real or just a mere act? In the Harry Potter franchise, Ron's unrelenting fear of spiders was a recurring theme. And given that spiders turned out to be a major topic of interest for Harry and his friends as they uncover the mystery of the Chamber of Secrets, it didn't take long for Ron's arachnophobia to get in the way. At one point in the movie, they listened to Hagrid's advice to follow the spiders. This advice made them come face to face with Aragorn, the acromantula, a massive spider that traumatized Ron more. Ron's fear was also evident in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban when Boggart takes the form of Ron's deepest fear, which looks just like Aragog. His fear of spiders became more obvious to his fans when Ron and Harry were seen following the small spiders. It was clear to both Harry and the fans that the character's fear stems from something in his past, and this applies to all spiders, not only acromantulas. Many movie analysts have shared that the character may have ruined Ron's image by portraying him as too cowardly and not explaining his insecurities as thoroughly as the books, a topic that has been a constant point of debate among the Harry Potter community. Later in the movie, the reasons behind Ron's fear of spiders were revealed, and this earned Ron the fans' sympathy. Let's see what happened. In a great passage from the second book, J.K. Rowling delves deep into Ron Weasley's character. In the book, Ron's 12-year-old self opened up to Harry and Hermione about a traumatic moment of his childhood. He explained that his arachnophobia dates back to when he was only 3 years old and his older brother Fred decided to play a prank on him. Fred transformed his beloved teddy bear into a large, dirty spider because Ron had broken his toy broomstick. If the tiny spiders that led Harry and Ron to Aragog had already triggered his traumatic experience, it was obvious that the acromantula leader in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban would have exacerbated it further. The way Rupert Grint played the Ron character perfectly made everyone wonder if the two of them were similar. And there were speculations that the two may have more things in common than one might think, including the intense fear of spiders. Surprisingly, Rupert was as scared of spiders as Ron Weasley. Later, the actor opened up about his arachnophobia several times and ended up admitting that this has affected his life in many ways throughout the years. He also mentioned that he had an obsessive habit of checking his shoes for spiders before putting them on. The perfectly cast Grint could have potentially overcome his fear with help from Ron's arc, considering Ron manages to swallow his fear and enter the Forbidden Forest, as well as challenge the Boggart with the ridiculous charm in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Number 7. The Azkaban prison was never real. According to reports, Azkaban prison was mentioned many times in the movie, but it never physically appeared in the movie. There was no real Azkaban prison, however, the concept art was created. It was also done by both conceptual artist Andrew Williamson and production designer Stuart Craig. Both sketches depict Azkaban as a triangular stone fortress that is built on the edge of a giant waterfall. When Azkaban was first seen in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, the filmmakers reviewed the sketches and ultimately decided to retain the triangular design, but relocated the prison to an island in the middle of the ocean. This was close to how it was described in the book. Many of their fans were unaware that Azkaban prison was never a real location, because it was so well described and depicted by the filmmakers. Number 6. Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, was also known as the Dog Star. Do you know that Sirius was also known as the Dog Star? Now you do. Harry's godfather, Sirius, was like many members of his family, named after a star. According to claims, the Sirius star was the brightest in the night sky, and it was situated in the constellation known as Canis Major, which means the greater dog. It was pretty apt for an unregistered animagus who relied on his ability to turn into a dog to escape many sticky situations, and this included escaping from the allegedly unescapable Azkaban. Also, apart from Sirius's star, Sirius's brother Regulus and Arcturus was a boy named for not one but 2 stars. Regulus is the brightest star in the constellation of Leo, and Arcturus is the brightest in the constellation of Bootes. On many occasions, people often argue that Sirius's younger brother was twice as bright. That's not all. The only difference is that he threw his lot in with Voldemort, and this doesn't strike anyone as particularly clever. Still, he was giving points for stealing and attempting to destroy the Horcrux locket. Number 5. The Marauders Map. Do you know that the popular Marauders Map in the movie was created specially by Remus Lupin and others? Let's get the full details. Remus Lupin, who played the role of Moony, Peter Pettigrew, who played the role of Wormtail, Sirius Black, who played the role of Padfoot, and James Potter, who played the role of Prongs, created the map. They did this while they were attending Hogwarts. Unlike many beliefs, the map was not created as a perfect package, but gradually. The creation of the map started in 1974 and was finished between 1975 and 1978. It all happened because the titles on the map refer to the nicknames of these men in their animagus forms and, in Lupin's case, werewolf form. The four of them created the map using the homunculus charm. This charm, according to reports, is a powerful and advanced charm that enchanted the map to track the movements of everyone in the castle, as well as a charm to insult Severus Snape. In addition to that, the ability of Sirius, Peter, and James to become animagi enabled them to explore the castle grounds by night undetected. Also, the interior of the castle was often mapped out over time with the help of James's invisibility cloak. This artifact proved quite useful to the foursome over the years. It continued until it was confiscated by Argus Filch in their final year. The Marauders were never able to steal it back. Number 4, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban was J.K. Rowling's best writing experience.
I was sitting just staring out of the window and the idea just fell out.
After completing Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, J.K. Rowling immediately started writing Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. The series was later published in the United Kingdom on July 8, 1999 and on September 8, 1999 in the USA. The movie gained more popularity than expected. Later, in one of her interviews in 2004, Rowling claimed that she enjoyed writing Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban a lot. According to her, it was the best writing experience she ever had. She further revealed that when she was writing the third series, she was financially stable due to the reception of the first two books, and she had very little to worry about in terms of fame and the paparazzi, as her books were just getting famous. Additionally, she noted that the best part of the book was the introduction of the character Remus Lupin, whom she genuinely liked. Additionally, viewers loved the third part because the first two series had already revealed Lord Voldemort. However, in Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Lord Voldemort did not make an appearance. Instead, they started the third series with Harry being given extra protection by the Ministry of Magic and at Hogwarts, as a mass murderer named Sirius Black had escaped from Azkaban prison and was rumored to be hunting down Harry. Number 3, the movie changed the New York Times bestsellers list. Apart from gaining popularity and fame, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban significantly impacted the New York Times bestsellers list. For part of 1999, the first 3 Harry Potter books, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, known as Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone outside of America, Chamber of Secrets, and Prisoner of Azkaban, occupied the top 3 slots on the New York Times bestsellers list. Rowling had first published the books before turning them into a movie. However, they didn't maintain that position for long. The Prisoner of Azkaban was the book that prompted the paper to create a separate list for children's literature, leaving more room on the original list for books aimed at adults. This was why the Harry Potter series dominated book sales, and people got more interested when they heard that it had been turned into a movie. Number 2. Cuarón didn't know much about Harry Potter when offered the opportunity to direct.
Well, I did another family film before called A Little Princess.
Oh, that's right.
So that made,
People often applaud Cuarón for directing the film. However, it may surprise you to know that he had no intention of making the movie at first. In an interview, he shared that he had felt completely out of his comfort zone when Warner Brothers called to offer him the chance to direct the third Harry Potter movie. According to him, Chris Columbus was stepping aside from the director's chair after he did the first 2 series, and Harry Potter was in no way similar to the erotic Y2 Mama También movie that he had wanted to direct before. In the interview, he said, "I was confused because it was completely not on my radar. I speak often with Guillermo del Toro, and a couple of days after I said, you know, they offered me this Harry Potter film, but it's weird they offered me this." Del Toro, on the other hand, recognized the opportunity and gave him a shakeup. He told Cuarón, wait, you said you haven't read Harry Potter? I said, I don't think it's for me. In a very florid lexicon, in Spanish, he said, you are an arrogant asshole. This was enough to make him work on the movie. Number 1, Crookshanks is based on a real cat. Harry had Hedwig the owl, Ron had his pet rat Scabbers, and in Book 3, Hermione got a pet of her own, an intelligent half-Kneazle cat named Crookshanks. J.K. Rowling is allergic to cats, and she admits on her website that she prefers dogs, but she does have fond memories of a cat that roamed the London neighborhood where she worked in the 1980s. When writing Crookshanks, she gave him that cat's haughty attitude and smushed face appearance. Which of these weird facts stood out for you in the movie? After watching this, what do you think about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban? Leave your thoughts in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Before you go, watch the other videos displayed on your screen.